How are you
I'm
doing?
great. Thank you for having me on your recording here.
Great to have you. So we thought that let's turn the table.
Well, thanks.
We have seen you taking interviews of so many people and really making it easier, harder, or whatever it for them. So we are putting you in on spot, and it will be interesting. Shall we start?
Let's start.
Perfect.
All right.
So you've been in this space and you've been seeing all sorts of business platforms, and I can see Newstack also writing a lot about the platforms, platform engineering.
Mhm.
What is platform and platform engineering means to you?
Well, one way to look at it is through a DevOps point of view, where DevOps took forever to emerge. And I don't think it's truly emerged yet. It's very important, but the themes underlying it are still very critical. How do you think about development? How do you think about operations, right? How do you think about those two as singular entities or those as entities that are integrated? And that to me seems at the foundation of what the platform has become. The platform has become this capability to integrate developer, work and the operations itself. But that also brings in a lot of other issues too, like the DevOps person cannot do everything, right? They can't go from, manage the whole full life cycle. That was the original intent, but that just became too complex. In the meantime, I think there's been this loss of understanding of DevOps and what it really should do. But as we saw scale, across all kinds of organizations in the enterprise, in web, consumer-oriented companies that built these platforms, they need to think about ways that they could do version control, that they could do all these different things. But it wasn't just the DevOps person who could do that. So we saw the emergence of roles like the SRE and such. And so I think we're still at this point of like trying to understand where all those things intersect.
Absolutely.
And we don't understand yet how the platform engineering team plays a role. My thinking, especially as I'm writing now about PyTorch, I'm thinking about how are platform engineering teams going to play a role with the evolution of ARM-based CPUs, for example, which are becoming much more popular. So platform engineering team could play a very strategic role there, right? In helping kind of think through, all those issues that will come up, memory management, you name it. Then they would have to rely on the expertise of those individuals inside the organization, such as the SREs and stuff. That to me is like where it is right now, but I don't yet see where the budget's coming from either. I mean, I could see if like I'm like a big consumer products company and I realize that software is at the core of my business, that I need to think about a platform. So maybe I'll look at Backstage. Maybe I'll look at these other platforms out there. But still, how do you think about this as an ongoing effort? Because as you build this stuff out, it's like, I remember Adrian Cockcroft talking about the balloon. If you squeeze a balloon, the air goes all to different parts of it. But so it's just basically just moving the complexity somewhere else. So these are the kind of questions that I'm thinking about.
Great. So a lot of it is a fragmented ecosystem, which we have to build. Platform engineering itself is building.
Right.
And I mean, in my book, which I've covered, and of course, you are getting a copy of it.
Decoding platform patterns.
It's about the holistic platform.
Nice.
For business. So next, shoot, Sayam.
So with the current trends that we are seeing in the platform engineering space, what do you see? Like it's there, it was there in 2023. It has evolved a lot. We see at KubeCon, the platform engineering day is a lot bigger than it was at the first one. So what are the current trends that you are seeing in the platform engineering space, where it is kind of heading to?
Yeah, I think it's going to always intersect with emerging technologies. And I think we're starting to see that with how do you think about platform engineering and how it integrates with these data platforms, right? So data in Kubernetes is becoming a much larger discussion. there's really no place for the data scientists yet in the Kubernetes community. We don't see yet that data science and developer DevOps kind of persona. I mean, we're starting to a little bit, but it's still very, I think, fluid. We are starting to see better maybe declarative capabilities to use things like Ray. There was a talk on it earlier today that I caught a glimpse of, like how you can declaratively, like, build out the clusters and manage them. And, that to me seems like where platform engineering will have to like find its place. The other big question I think that we don't understand, and I think it's going to really just kind of like keep enterprises at bay, is what to do with that technical debt. Now, how do you manage all that technical debt? Because everything that comes new means that something else is not new, and all that stuff still needs to be managed. So who's going to take care of all the management? So it's like not just what's like new and innovative, but what's already there. And I don't hear much about that. I mean, we at the New Stack, we focus on at-scale development, deployment, and management. So now I think Kubernetes may be the best example of an infrastructure that gets managed pretty efficiently now, right? And people are starting to understand like much more about cluster management and container management. And I just see the platform engineering team sitting above that, but I just don't know where the budget is.
Great, very good points. And probably the last question from Aaron. Which one or two platforms you can name which you see as complete and really worth mentioning here?
That's a tough. That's a tough one. Yeah.
What to find?
Yeah, Backstage has gained a lot of popularity.
Yeah.
But what I do hear about it is its difficulty to manage. It takes a lot of,
and it's mostly a orchestrator is what we will call it, right?
So
okay, maybe let's make it simple for you. Let's not pick up from cloud native world, but let's pick up something which you are using outside. I'll name few for you: Netflix, Amazon, and those are business platforms, right?
Right.
Anything which is your favorite, which you first started using or early on.
Oh, interesting. I'm a reporter, right? And so I'm just researching all the time. So I'm always looking for new tools to do my research. And so I'm looking for tools that can enable that, right? And make it better and faster. So I'm looking, for instance, like Otter for me is a platform now that I use all the time, right? I use Claude quite a bit to do research. I use Perplexity to some extent. I'll rely on, I'll actually almost like, it's like a 2-tier platform. What, approach I'll take is like, I'll do some initial research in Claude to see what it is. And then I'll take what I learned there and I apply and I push it into Google to see what the actual, where the links are to kind of verify what I'm reading. Right.
Yeah.
So it becomes, that's for me is like, is
those
important.
Are really good picks, I must say.
Yeah.
Interesting. So thank you for being here. And
thank you so much.
And we really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.